Well, you just couldn't stay away, could you? You're back for more thoughts from our life for yours. And we couldn't stay away either. We keep having thoughts about life. And today, we have thoughts about...
calendars.
You sound so excited.
We missed you, and that's why we're back too. We actually had this event on our calendar, this recording sesh.
Yeah, well, it's true. We do. We had to put it on the calendar because we had to be organized about it.
Yeah, but we'll get to that later on. Jan, what day is it? Just for the record, 'cause speaking of calendars.
Let me look at the little calendar widget on my watch, and it is the 15th.
Oh, wow. It's Friday. Happy Friday to you all. Yeah, maybe we could talk about days of the week, just starting off. Like, how do we get from, like, days to months and years?
Well, I think we can't talk about days of the week without talking about the weeks in a month, the months in a year. It's all part of the same system because it's kind of all like, just like metric or whatever. There's smaller units, and they all add up to be bigger units to try to fit in, and just basically be well divided out pieces of time.
Whoa.
So
Jan, what do you speculate is the way that calendars came about?
I think it was simple observations people had about the world, say like, seasons changing, the moon having an obvious change from like being full to slowly being not full. I think that and math. So
math,
visual observations meeting math as that eventually became a thing.
That's incredible.
And I think slowly the calendars came together. So
wow, yeah, if you think about it, because there's all these like weird numbers of days for each month, and they're all over the place, even though there's some pattern to it. There's February. But, yeah, there's a lot of math involved. I'm impressed. So those were invented a long time ago, so they must have really put some thought into, like, there's a scientific formula for how this calendar is going to look out.
Well, yeah, it makes sense, too, because so many different cultures had different calendars, but they're similar enough. Like, we all get the understanding of days, So, like, they just have different names for months, or they might have a few more months, but really, it's all an attempt to just add order to the year.
And it was probably based on kind of an agrarian lifestyle where the seasons change and crops are planted and harvested. So I would assume that probably affects how they figured out, there's like a cycle to this thing that turned out to be, 12 months or so.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating.
Yep. Isn't our calendar based on like a Roman or Greek or something like that calendar?
Probably.
Like, were all those like names like Augustus for August and stuff like that? And then
probably.
Some of the different months are named after Roman gods and stuff, like
probably,
something like that. Also, the Ides of March, Caesar, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it would have been before that, and the math would have been not perfect. So maybe it was just like, let's alternate. Okay, each month is going to have 31. If it's this this month, and then some of the others are going to have 30, and then we actually have. It's not going to work out perfectly, so we have to subtract a few more days from one month, except every 4 years we're going to add one back just to make up for all the unfair...
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I think the math thing was my attempt at explaining that, though. Like, because it's imperfect and it's like a fraction, we had to do a lot of work in weird month layouts and weird month amount of days to make it all equal out at the end.
Yeah, people put some serious math into this. I'm very impressed. I didn't expect to have this entirely drab conversation about math.
I know. It's going to be so boring. We're so sorry that you had to listen to this. But that's my closest answer.
Get your scientific calculators out and tell me what's happening today in your life.
It's kind of like when things go crazy wrong on your budget, and you're like, okay, what can I pull from where to make this one even out? That's basically what they did with calendars. Like, okay, let's pull some days from these other months, and then it'll equal out. Perfect. Let's pull a few more from February, and then we'll even out. Great.
Wow. Calendars, the earliest form of math and budgeting that we can think of.
Yeah.
One of the things I've thought is really interesting is how we still have a lot of paper calendars, even though we live in a society that has a lot of really good digital apps.
Yeah.
It's interesting how it's like there's such a like calendars to me on the smartphone seem like such a basic like thing, but yet people still do the paper calendars.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, I think having a train calendar is really awesome. And I'm sorry that the Chick-fil-A calendar, even though their coupons were really good, is gone.
Yep.
But it's so interesting.
Yeah. I think some people get stuck to it because there's proof that writing something by hand helps you remember it better. One defense could just be simply that they remember it better when they write it down by hand. The other thing, too, is that I would say a lot of calendar apps don't lend themselves to seem simple. They really are simple. But to the average person, especially if they really have been dependent on paper for a long time, a calendar app with all the different types of calendars you can do, you can turn some of them off and on. You can set different types of reminders and stuff.
And they're endless.
Yeah, they go on forever. It feels
past,
like
present, future. It just keeps going. So you just keep scrolling. You're like, where's the end?
Whereas someone who's used to paper, they're like, okay, great. There's a clear beginning and end.
Yeah,
to this.
and I'm just looking at this month.
Yeah. Yep.
My mom, I think she still does this, but she used to print out her Google Calendar. So she would like create everything in Google Calendar. She was super organized, and then she would print it out, and it would be hanging up on like a cabinet.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
So she still needed like the paper. So it was like she had like a hybrid version where she's like got the Google Calendar, but it's still on the wall. So,
but she didn't write it by hand, right? So she just printed
no,
it out.
she typed it out. Yeah, she typed it up and then printed it out.
Typed it up.
Like typed it up as in submitted a calendar event in Google Calendar.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. I love calendars, specifically digital ones.
And we aren't. I love it too. It makes a lot of disorganized people able to be organized and able to allot their time well. We still have pretty horrible habits with that. But what I've noticed is that even people who use digital calendars and know how to do them, there's still a lot of analog calendar stuff happening.
Sure.
This happens with me too. I'm guilty of this. People will be like, "Hey, are you going to come to this thing?" It's like I got the calendar invite, and I thought in my head like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool, that's happening Saturday, great," and then just never clicked yes. It's so easy to do, and yet never clicked it or whatever. And so someone still has to confirm with me in person.
Wow.
Hey, are you going to come on Saturday? And it's like, oh, yep.
Wow.
I couldn't do this just a click. I don't know how. I don't know why.
That's awesome. When did you first use a calendar?
The first time I really remember using a digital calendar, they updated the calendar app on the iPhone when I was like a sophomore in college, so 2012. Looked a lot cooler then. And I got really excited. My roommate and I did, and we just started the semester of school. And so we put in all of our classes for the whole semester and other meetings we had that were regular. And we started figuring out time to oh, hey, I have this hole open. I could get breakfast with somebody there.
Oh, cool.
And so things we put in stuff like get breakfast with somebody. So just things like that. And it was exciting to realize, whoa, look how much time I have. If I just plan it out, it's almost exciting.
Yeah.
Almost exciting. It sounds like I'm not really. Yeah, it was exciting.
Thrilling, Jam.
Yeah.
Calendars are so awesome. Jam didn't have a lisp actually in college. I was my own impersonation. I started using calendar in college as well. I think it was freshman year, and I had classes every day my first semester, but only for a portion of the day.
Right.
And then on top of that, I was working, so I needed to schedule my shifts and have my shifts on the calendar so that I could see okay, I've got this much time. I've got to be here at this time. And I think calendars, that's the beauty of them. I love them so much now. I'll do just pretty much everything in calendars. And the beauty of calendars to me, kind of like you talked about with finding time to have friends for pancakes or whatever, is you get to see that you have time in the day and you want to use it well.
Yeah.
It's and it feels good because it's oh, cool, I can totally hang out with this person at this time because I have time.
Yeah. One of the best outcomes I've ever had from using a calendar is this. So my freshman year, this was on paper, okay? I wasn't using digital stuff yet. My freshman year, I wrote out my my calendar and schedule as part of a small group activity. This one guy was also in my small group, and we realized we both had Thursday mornings open. For whatever reason, I didn't have my first class until noon or something like that. And he had a class super early at 8 a.m., but it was only an hour class. And so then he got done by 9, and so we both had this large chunk open where we were both on campus, both out. And we just realized that, and we were sitting next to each other filling out our stuff. And so in this small group activity, and then we're like, well, why don't we start, getting breakfast on Thursday mornings?
Oh, cool.
After you finish with your class.
Pancakes.
Didn't know him very well, and we started doing that every week. And then we became good friends, and then roommates for the next 3 years after that. And then he was in my wedding, and now he's someone I talk to pretty much every week. So
That's so cool.
From that one activity where we happened to realize that we both had Thursday morning open, like no other reason would we have just hung out. I don't think we would have. He's really cool, but I don't know that I knew that yet. So because of that, because of calendars, I gained a long-term friend.
Wow.
Yep.
Calendars. The best dating app that's...
The original dating app.
Well, I mean, yeah, actually, it's like, what do you do Thursday night?
Dating meaning dating, dates and times.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Calendars. What a way to make friends.
Calendars. Math for normal people.
Calendars. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday.
What?
It's from The Godfather. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday.
By just saying them out loud in the wrong order and
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So I've got another story that's sort of calendar related.
Hit me.
Whenever we were kids, my brother we'd all kind of write fake songs and stuff. And my older brother wrote this song called "These Are the Days of the Week," and
I feel like I heard that song before. I don't know why.
And he would sing like, "These are the days of the week. These are the days of the week. These are the days. These are the days. These are the days of the week. These are the days." And he would just
for 365 days.
He would just keep saying it and never like go into what you expected, which was like saying Monday, Tuesday, or something like that. And he would just keep going. And he loved, like, that was his humor. Like, he would just do it and do it and do it until somebody would get annoyed enough to make him stop. So
wow,
yeah,
Caleb, that's really funny.
Here's looking at you, Caleb.
Here's looking at you, Caleb. Wow. Well, I'd say the verdict on calendars is they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think we need them.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the few types that I use math in my life nowadays.
Yeah, I think they are. I think we need them.
Yeah,
they might be important.
Yeah,
and we're not even going to go into the dark side of calendars, horoscopes.
Yikes! More like horoscopes. Yeah, let's save that for another day.
Absolutely. So we'll stick to the mathy farmer part of it, and yeah, so they're good. That's the verdict. Well, anyway, thanks for... Gosh dang it.
You're supposed to wrap up.
I know. I just... Well, that is all the time we have today. Thanks so much for listening to our weird and scientific attempt at talking about something as simple as calendars.
Yeah, this one was pretty out there, but, for what it's worth. We only wasted 15 minutes of your day, of your month, of your year.
So thanks for penciling us in.
Of your decade. See you next millennium. We'll see you.
We will see you in a later moon phase.
Cheers.